wanted by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go! Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
'Cause that's the bottom line! The Stone Cold Simpson!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, HEAD, back for another ICW podcast episode, presented by the Wrestling Matters, of course. Hope you all well in whatever it is you are doing. Hectic week in the world of professional wrestling, but we're not here to talk about the world of professional wrestling. We're here to talk about ICW. That's right, we're here to talk about ICW podcast. Now, I was going to do the third and fourth fringes these past 2 weeks, but I decided not to, because Spacebaws episode 2 caught my eye. Episode 3, September 20th, but episode 2 caught. So I decided to watch that and review that, and I'm going to talk about that today. Next week, I promise, I will do episode night 3 of the Fringe of 2015. I'll do that next week, I promise. But I decided to do Spacebaws 2 because it was interesting and it looked good. And from what I've seen on the internet, I really wanted to do it. But here we go. It kicked off with Adam Wilde versus Solar. Now, these two have met before, way back in the day. These two at once were competing over the Zero G Championship. And that was then 2013, I think that was. 2015, we're back here. And it was a bit case of quickness versus strength and agility. Not saying that Solar didn't have any agility, but he was based on quickness. Adam Wilde, who was a lot different from what he used to be, it looks like he's been entering strongman contests, was the strength king. One of my favourite moments of the match, Solar doing a flip dive over the rope and diving onto Andrew Wilde on the outside. Not the best match these two have had, and it was an okay way to start the show. I would say pay-per-view there, but really not much about it, really. The only thing that was is Andrew Wilde hit the Wild Night In finishing move that he does to win the match, and not only that, seemed to have knocked out Solar in the process. All in all, a good match to kick off. Could have been better, but hey, it was what it was at the end of the day. DCT's backstage talking about his match for the Zero G title in the main event. I'll do that in part 2. Michael Chase, who impressed in the Fringe night, second night against a match with DCT, took on David Conrad. Now, this wasn't really a match, quite frankly. This was a one-sided as one-sided could be. David Conrad, from start to 30 seconds before the end, beat the living tar out of Michael. He beat him up all the way around the ring, and just, Michael couldn't get on the offense until one mistake towards the end from David Conrad allowed Michael to do a springboard splash and get the victory, which was shocking in itself. Maybe, like I say, it wasn't really that much of a match. And Michael eventually ends up getting his first win in somewhat unique circumstances at the most. Gets his first win in ICW. Because his debut match, he lost to DCT. I expect a lot from Michael Chase in ICW from what I'm going to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing more wrestling of him. But David Conrad used to be a part of a tag team and broke away, and he might want to rethink his strategy. I mean, the guy's beating the tar out of Michael Chase, and then he loses. And then they have him lose, because he made one mistake, and which allowed Michael to do a springboard splash. looking good in that way, and not looking good for David, not looking good on David as well. Lewis Girvan backstage talking about his match with Aspen Faith later on. More on that later. Now, I feel happy right about now, what I'm about to do, because the next match was David Devlin, or as he's otherwise known as Yum Yum, and he went one-on-one with a guy I interviewed for the Wrestling Matters podcast, which was Massimo Italiano. That's right, Massimo made his debut in ICW, and if Massimo's listening to this, and I will send you to your brother, congratulations. I sent a tweet out to you congratulating you on your debut. Many congratulations. It brought a smile to my face, considering the fact that we talked about this on the interview, whether you wanted to, would you have liked to have wrestled, because you were based in Scotland, and would you have liked to have been booked on ICW, and you got your break. You're in ICW, you're in a hell of a good promotion, and more power to you, and congratulations, and hope you have success in ICW. And he definitely had success in this match with Yum Yum, because he beat the living tar out of him. And I never realised how much of a monster he was. He beat the living tar out of him. And again, another one-sided dominant match, and a dominant victory by Massimo, as Massimo connected with the big boot to get the victory. Not really much to say about that match, because like I say, it was one-sided and it didn't last long. But the story came after the match when Lou King Sharp and his minions that he seemed to have developed came out and got in the face and took it to Massimo Italiano, despite the fact that Massimo Italiano was fighting him off at first, and then Lou King has to use a chair to chase the big man away. More on that later. Chase is backstage talking in an interview, and David Conrad is not very happy, because he lost the match after he beat the living tar out of him. But I like Michael's style, because basically Michael was calm, cool and collective, and proceeded to put David in his place and tell him a few home truths and give him something to think about also. Now for the next match. Two great wrestlers, two very unique wrestlers, very young wrestlers in the business. Lewis Girvan and the somewhat very dangerous Aspen Faith. Now, I have a bit of I would say an issue with Aspen Faith, but the guy never waits for his entrance, does he? He always goes to the ring. You go backstage, you come out, he's in the ring. He doesn't. He's very keen. I don't need entrance music, so I'll just go to the ring, boom, let's get it on. He never waits for his entrance. Lewis Girvan, new entrance and all. It was the I am the one and only, but now it's a whole lot different to what it is. But this was a great wrestling match for about, say, 10-12 minutes. Good, solid, catch-as-catch-can mat wrestling between the two. A good counter as well to the crossface by Girvan was one of my favourite moments of the match. But these two are wrestling. And the idea of Spacebaws is to give the young guys, i.e. an Aspen Faith, Lewis Girvan, and whoever else is on the rosters, young, and a Massimo Italiano as well, allow them to get on the show and get over. Give them the platform to get over. I don't know if Mark Dallas is trying to get this as a separate brand, but, an ICW produced separate brand, but it's working, and allows the guys to get over, and allows the guys the platform to show what they can do. And both guys here, for 10 and 12 minutes at the most, gave a good example of that. It's amazing that Aspen Faith didn't show his little dangerous side, because I remember one time he wrestled Solar. I reviewed this for the podcast. He wrestled Solar and broke his fingers nearly. Maybe you want to see that little vicious more out of it. But Lewis got the win with the crossface, tapping out Aspen Faith, and then after the match declares that he wants a shot at the Zero G title. So whether he get it, he would make a great Zero G champion, and he seems to have established a new style and a new direction, because everybody thinks he's the modern day Drew Galloway. He's a Drew Galloway lookalike at first. Just keep doing what he's doing, and he may get his wish and be the Zero G champion. Because let's face it, he's not going to listen to He's not going to get anything listening at the Red Lightning. That goof. Anywho, main event of the first half was a tag match involving 55 members. Shout out to James R. Kennedy as well. Wish me happy birthday as well on Facebook, which was very nice of him. And it was his 55, Kid Fite and Magnus. Yes, you heard me correct, ladies and gentlemen. The now former TNA star, because he's no longer with TNA, and they went against the team of Iron Jew, now, which is Cabana and Grado. Great tag team match. You know, it's the usual stuff you'll get from Iron Drew. Yes, Kennedy got involved. You know, and Grado showing a different style now. Since it was announced at Fringe 4, and I'll be reviewing that in the coming weeks, definitely, like I say, I promise, that it was announced that he would be the number one contender and he will get a shot at the ICW World Heavyweight Champion, Drew Galloway, November 15th of Fear and Loathing. He has turned on a different style. He's turned it up a notch, so to speak. You know, all these Parkham Simpson dances, the Madonna theme song and the dancing. We all knew he could wrestle, but he seems to have gone a different direction now and gone up a level. From what I'm seeing, anyway. You know, showed some great wrestling, slowing things down and keeping it hissed out. I mean, at one point he did the on the floor leapfrog hip toss thing, which he did perfectly. Maybe he'd not done the leapfrog perfectly, but he did it better than what I expected. And that was they showed the entertaining, have a laugh. There was some serious side to it as well, with the 55 isolated Grado and took control of the match, and you know, basically dominated Grado like they do everything else, because the motto of the 55 is they just do what the fuck they want, which was great. And even at one point, one of my favourite moments of the match, and the favourite moment of the match, was Grado did an RKO and did it perfectly on Kid Fite, which was just Kennedy managed just to stop Drew's offense, which was just ridiculous. And then a miscue by Iron Drew towards the end. I think they were too busy wanting to roll, you know, do the cannonball. And Grado was very keen to do the cannonball and wanted Colt's help in doing it on James R. Kennedy, but he missed, and they lost the match because of it. 55 end up winning by Magnus hitting the Empire and getting the victory. And then they managed to get away, and Colt Cabana, as a go Grado, tries to fire him up a little bit, but then it turns into a setup, because Colt Cabana ended up setting up Grado and says he needs to be toughened up, which brought in Jack Jester, Red Lightning, and a 55, Black Label 55. And they proceeded to beat the living tar out of Grado. For what reason? Colt Cabana didn't do anything. He walked backstage and was shouting at Grado, toughen up, yada, yada, yada. You know, and it all went from there. And it was all very, very, very confusing. Was he doing it to toughen him up, or was he turning his back on Grado? Don't know. Red said Grado wasn't good enough, which is what we've heard before, because these two, the first time that Grado had an ICW title shot, which is actually on YouTube, he wrestled Red Lightning for it. So obviously it's old school Red Lightning, yada yada yada, says he's not good enough, abuses his power. That was until the boss came out, and as his song says, cleans up Red Lightning's dirty laundry and puts Red Lightning and Co in their place, and says at the next show there's going to be an evaluation of Red Lightning. Next show being September 20th, Spacebaws 3. It's going to be an evaluation of Red Lightning's tenure as GM, and Dallas made it clear if he can't justify what he did to Mark Dallas, Mark will fire him on the spot. Hallelujah. Boss is back and took the keys back to the kingdom. And then Kid ranted, one thing led to another and everything like that. I'll put the link in the clips on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description when they're watching this or hearing this on SoundCloud or YouTube. And then Kid wanted Dallas to get in the ring, and obviously Dallas was smart and not an idiot, otherwise he knew he'd get his ass kicked by Kid Fite and the 55 and Red Lightning and whatever, and said that he was going to the ring, but he was going to bring in this surest policy to make sure that he'd get to the ring. And that was Damo. Damo returned, came back, chased everybody away, and then since he couldn't get anywhere with Red Lightning and Dallas was there, he asked for a match with Jack Jester, November 15th of Fear and Loathing. Red Lightning said no. The answer is no, and Dallas overruled him and granted Damo his wish. So it's Damo, Jack Jester, November 15th at Fear and Loathing. And then Damo wishes Grado good luck and pumps him up for the challenge ahead with Drew Galloway and says, when you win the belt, I'll be waiting for you. So, you know, it is all it is at the end of the day. Solar backstage, very angry, like I mentioned earlier on, to what happened, and didn't take too kindly to be knocked out by Andrew Wilde, and challenges Andrew Wilde for a match at September 20th, and vowing to beat Andrew Wilde. And then the Rogers brothers came out. They declared that they want the tag team titles, the ICW Tag Team Championships, held by the wee bad crew that are Polar Promotions. Chris Toll came out. Now, Chris Toll is the little midget that usually hangs around Dallas. I say midget, he's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And he's having his old, stable of clients routine. And, came out and announced his new client. One Dickie Divers. That's right, Dickie Divers wants to get back on the winning streak and called Chris, so to speak. And also opened to anybody who wants a tag team, who wants to win tag team gold. Basically, he was looking for a tag team partner. He's won the tag team titles before with 2 different partners, and that's the only way you're going to get with Dickie Divers, man. The guy goes from winning the Square Go, losing the Square Go briefcase to Chris Renfrew, and now they're putting him back in the tag team division. Maybe he wasn't good enough for the ICW World Championship. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, in my opinion. Dickie calls for a new partner, like I said, and DCT's warming up for his match for the ZOG title with Stevie Boy. More on that later. And also, I'll throw this in, Massimo Italiano was tying his shoes backstage before he got interrupted by Luke King Sharp. Massimo grabs out of him and says, "I'll see you September 20th. Enough said. Aaron Echo went one-on-one. You know what? I'm not even going to do a break on this one, guys. I'm not even going to do a break. This is going to be one big, huge podcast. To hell with the commercial breaks. I'll save them for next time. Aaron Echo went one-on-one with Kenny Williams. Very even, high impact, offensive, hard match. Great wrestling, great stuff. Aaron Echo, trained and mentored by Kid Fite of the 55, showed great stuff. Absolutely superb match. I really enjoyed it for the time they had, at least. Could have been better, but I enjoyed it. I had no beef. I had no issues with it. And then Kenny ends up getting the victory. A good solid match, and said that we'll do it again. Good offense, vintage offense by Kenny Williams, very good, all-round, great match. I loved it. And then, after the match, Kenny ended up winning with the running knee, went for the quackbuster, got countered, and then hits the running knee and gets the victory. The story of this match, though, was not the great match that it was the match afterward. Kenny calls out Lionheart and demands answers for what happened at the Fringe show. Now, Kenny and Lionheart wrestled, and basically, Lionheart beat Kenny Williams by faking a broken neck injury. Same kind of broken neck injury. A broken neck injury very familiar with Lionheart, considering what AJ Styles did, or what he made AJ Styles have to do. Either way, it's a debate. You have to figure that out yourself. And Lionheart says, "Don't make it personal," and he did. And Kenny made it personal by attacking him and trying to get in, but Lionheart put a stop to that. Dickie Divers is backstage with Chris, Luke King Sharp, and Saqib Ali. Just Dickie Divers trying to be serious, Ali and Sharp being complete clowns, and Chris wondering what the fuck is going on, and Dickie reminding Chris that Chris works for him. And then Colt gets into an argument backstage with Grado, and dares, I'll put this in the description as well, and dares Grado to win the ICW World Heavyweight Championship, and next summer he'll get a shot at it. Seems Iron Jews no more. And then for a match in the Women's Championship tournament, which saw Nikki Storm go in the commentary. Kaylee Ray, the NAK hottie. Oh my god, she's so hot. It's unbelievable. Stevie Boy, you a lucky son of a bitch, I tell you. Absolute lucky. And the talented Kaylee Ray, NAK, that rhymes somewhat. Anyway, and she went one-on-one in this Women's Championship tournament match against, of all people, and yes, you hear me correctly when I say this, Mickie James. That's right, the original WWE Diva Women's Champion, whatever the hell. And she's coming, well, in ICW terms at least. She's coming to ICW, and she makes her debut and goes one-on-one with Kelly Ray in this match. And this was just a great women's match. Hard-hitting stuff, aggressive start. And Mickie, in a way, showed some train wrestling, which I don't remember her doing that much in WWE, or TNA for that matter. Mainly WWE. Kelly Ray losing the dirty tactics, obviously, because she's a heel, and she's a member of a heel group called and AK. My favourite moment of the match, and Kaylee Ray knows how Trish Stratus feels, because Kaylee Ray was on the receiving end of what Mickie James did to Trish Stratus, and what WWE are trying to block out now, considering now it's PG. What Mickie did to Trish at WrestleMania 22. Kaylee grabs her in the headlock. Mickie grabs the crotch of Kaylee Ray. Let's go! And puts her tongue between her two fingers, like the V sign. And the crowd loved it. You know, old school Mickie James, that is. WrestleMania 22. Although probably people won't be able to see that anymore. Kids will definitely not see it right now, because WWE apparently have edited that out. Mickie hit a neck breaker on the ramp, which was another favourite moment, because the thud that got out of it. And then Mickie misses the Thesz press, and Kaylee Ray gets a roll up and grabs the ropes and gets the victory and advances. But all in all, a good, solid women's wrestling match between the two. Two very talented female wrestlers. Kaylee Ray going the long way. To be honest with you, I think she's going to win this tournament. And she will be the very first women's champion, just like she was the very first Fierce Females champion back in the day. And Mickie James, she's been there, seen it, done it. I don't need to say anything about Mickie James. We've all witnessed her career. Like I say, all in all, a good women's match. And quite frankly, in my opinion, I think that's all the show, which is awesome to see. And Mickie bringing the best out of the evil, talented Kaylee Ray. Evil in respects of the fact she's with the New Age clique. Personal favourite group of mine. Now, the main event was Zero G time. It is. Speaking of Kaylee Ray, her boyfriend, the champion, Stevie Boy, went one-on-one with DCT for the Zero G title. Now, DCT was up for this. He took it to Stevie Boy, start to finish. Yep, Stevie Boy gets his blows in. What impressed me in a way about Stevie Boy in this match, because the previous times we've seen him when he was with the Bucky Boys, in his matches, he would always quicken the pace. He would always quicken the pace and speed up the match just to get over his opponent. I mean, he's wrestled big guys, people his size and everything, and he can go. In this match, he was in control, and he was the deliberate guy who was dictating the pace in the match, which is very unusual to see. But it was very effective, nonetheless. The fight actually went into the crowd for a brief moment. DCT even took him into the toilet, which was weird. In itself, and people did not like that. Obviously, DCT, another favourite spot in the match was DCT doing power slams. We all know where you got that from. Or they're now known as polo slams. And also another favourite moment in the match was DCT hitting Stevie Boy with the Impaler DDT, sending a message to Bram, because Bram power-driven his wife at Shug's house party, and DCT wants a piece of him. Well, I'm sorry to say, DCT, you might have to wait a little bit longer, because Bram is on charges in America, and I don't think he'd be leaving that place anytime soon. But yeah, great match. Lewis Garvin even came on the ramp and was stood on the ramp wearing the Zero G title at some point, where he's trying to play mind games or scouting his talent, because you all know he's declared a shot at the title. Comes in the ring after Stevie Boy gets the victory and hands him the belt. Stevie Boy winning with a destroyer in what was a great match and a great ending. And then, Stevie Boy raises the hand, says it's my time and everything. DCT got up, and I swear I'll be damned if he didn't look like Taz, or Samoa Joe kind of what he was like. And then looks in the move that we all know as the Taz mission, the Kata Hajime, but apparently he calls it the Tash mission. That Tash on his lips, but he got it locked in towards the end, and Stevie Boy was tapping out, and basically he choked out Stevie Boy, which was great. All in all, a good show. Good solid show, and I'm looking forward to Spacebaws 3, and I'll give this show 4 out of 5, because it was very, very good, and like I say, I'm very much looking forward to Spacebaws 3. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. Yes, I didn't put any breaks in. I was going to put some commercial breaks in, but I thought, you know what, I was enjoying this, I'll let it go. Might put one at the end. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this podcast. My name is Anthony Walker, the HD, the D. Check out the Progress Wrestling Podcast tomorrow. It might not be up on time. I'll put it up ASAP, but it'll be up tomorrow, so help me God. Check out the episode 75 of the Wrestling Matters podcast as well. You can see and hear this on youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters and soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. For more information, go to facebook.com/WM podcast, at WM podcast on Twitter. If you want to speak to me, at Tony_Walker on Twitter as well. Or if you want, go to the WM podcast. I'll answer on there as well, whatever. And until next time, guys, my name is the head Anthony Walker. Enjoy the rest of the week. See you for the ICW, the Progress Wrestling podcast rather tomorrow. If not, I'll see you. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! Yes! 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 That's 13-14! Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.